2023 Grey Cup Festival kicked off in Hamilton earlier today. Over the last year, many stakeholders have been working tirelessly with the CFL and Grey Cup organizers to ensure that this week's festivities, including Sunday's game, are an enjoyable experience for visitors and residents of Hamilton alike. The City of Hamilton is extremely proud to support the 2023 Grey Cup Festival in downtown Hamilton, as the event blends football, culture, and music, showcasing the city's vibrancy and the resilient spirit of Hamilton. With a proven track record of attracting visitors, the Grey Cup Festival positions Hamilton as a prime destination, inviting the exploration of the city's charm and contributing to the local economy. I'm very pleased to share a few highlights for this week. First, from November 16th to 19th, Fan Central will be taking over James Street North, which hosts 40 plus concerts, offering locals and visitors an immersive music experience with dynamic Canadian talent. Then the week's programming also includes the Built in the Hammer music series, which includes top-tier performances such as Carrie Underwood, Shaggy, and many more. And this also includes over 40 local artists. Then at the halftime show, we have the global punk rock stars Green Day, which headlined the Twisted Tea Grey Cup halftime show on November 19th at Tim Hortons Field, which promises an unforgettable experience of music, sport, and entertainment. Then, of course, on Sunday, November 19th, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers play off against the Montreal Alouettes at a sold-out Tim Hortons Field to see who will bring home the 110th Grey Cup. Throughout the week of the Grey Cup Festival, Hamilton expects significant economic impact with the potential to surpass the 67.8 million generated at last year's 2022 festival, which will provide a great benefit to local businesses. Last year in Regina, they reported over 200,000 attendees over a 6-day festival. With the extensive lineup of programming, it is likely that the 2023 Grey Cup Festival here in Hamilton will surpass these impressive figures. Organizing this festival has been a collaborative effort involving numerous community organizations. And it's because of this, the 2023 Grey Cup Festival will showcase Hamilton's community spirit, bringing together local businesses, artists, volunteers, and the broader community for an incredible experience that goes way beyond the football field. So we're really excited for an unforgettable Grey Cup Festival. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ryan. We'll now call upon Carlisle Can for his remarks.
Good afternoon. It's going to be a great week, and it would only be better for our beloved Ticats for playing on Sunday. As the acting city manager, I know how important it is to bring an end to the transit strike, while keeping the public up to date on our ongoing efforts. It's equally important to mitigate the impacts of the ongoing transit strike on the public during an exciting week for the city of Hamilton. I'm extremely proud of how our city continues to operate through this difficult time. It is important to us that our unionized employees are able to exercise their right to strike. I thank them for their professionalism and consideration of the public as they do so. I'd also like to thank the public for their ongoing patience. We take this work very seriously, and we are fully confident that every effort is being made to reach resolution quickly and fairly. I want to confirm that our bargaining team has been in touch with the ATU Local 107 and invited them back to the table. Our bargaining team extended this offer to meet last Friday and again today, and I look forward to the conversation resuming. The bargaining table is where issues are discussed and addressed by both parties. I would like to take this time to thank the mayor for her support in encouraging the ATU Local to engage through the bargaining process with our negotiation team, so we can talk through the issues and find a resolution that is fair to our transit workers and to our residents. In the meantime, I want to update you on the ongoing provision of city services. I'm pleased to pass along that there has been no interruptions to our other city services. I assure the people of Hamilton that the city is here to provide all services and programs they rely on their day-to-day activities. Traffic continues to flow throughout the city We ask the public to continue to factor in some additional time in their plans. We also ask employers throughout the city to accommodate any commuting issues that their staff may have during this labor disruption. DART service remains in place. As noted last week, refunds will be issued through Presto for monthly passes holders as required. We have been providing updates on our transit strike website, and members of the public are encouraged to check in there to have their questions answered and to stay up to date. Thank you, and I'll hand it back to Michelle to take any questions you may have.
Thank you, Carlisle. We will now go to members of the media for questions, and we have quite a few members joining us. First off, we'll go to Matt Van Dongen from the Hamilton Spectator. Matt, if you have a question, you can go ahead now.
Hello, thanks for that. I guess this question is for Carlisle. Sorry, sir, so you said that you have invited the union day. Have you had a response?
Thanks for the question, Matt. We have invited the union back to the table today. Currently, there are a number of things that can be discussed and should be discussed. And our team, we're ready to be at the table should they indicate that they are so willing to. So the response so far has been no, but we remain open and optimistic that we will get back to the table.
Okay, and just as my follow-up question, just as well. So you've had a no today already, or you're still waiting to hear back whether the answer is?
That's correct. We've had a no today, but we are optimistic that there are so many other things that we can discuss and start to move forward in a positive manner. So we are open to those negotiations. Our bargaining team is available and will be available at any point in time should the union indicate it as such.
And again, just to clarify, the issues that you say that are available to discuss, wage hikes beyond the final offer are not one of those issues?
So, Matt, I think everything needs to be discussed. And I think at the end of the day, we need to bring forward a recommendation to council for consideration. So it's one of the many things that we're willing to discuss as we look at the compensation as we move into the next 4 years. I don't know if Executive Director Laura Fontana would like to add to that.
Thanks, Matt, for the question. As Carlisle mentioned, we did reach out to them today, and the response is as long as there is no movement on the financial wages, specifically the wages, there is no interest in meeting with the employer. As Carlisle mentioned, there is lots of things that we can talk about at the bargaining table, and we are more than willing to have those discussions, and we are available at any time. But the wages at this point in time are the wages, and they are not changing. But that's not to say that there's other issues that we can discuss at the table that may or may not have a monetary impact. Certainly happy to discuss those. But the wages, again, that we've tabled are the wages that are being tabled, and they are not changing.
Thanks very much, Laura. We're going to move on to Samantha Beatty from CBC Hamilton. Samantha, if you have a question, you can.
Thanks. I guess my question is, if neither side in the wage issue, what are residents in Hamilton supposed to do if the strike goes on for months?
So we encourage residents in Hamilton to look at alternative ways of travel throughout the city. That includes our carpooling services, our bike share program. There are other programs there. This is difficult on all Hamiltonians, and that is not lost on the city. We are very anxious, as Laura said, to get back to the table and get on with the work. The mayor was very clear on her position with regards to once you're through this, we're going to have to work together side by side. So I'm really hoping for a positive outcome. I'm hoping for a realization that, we need to move forward. And, I continue to ask for patience from the public as we move through these difficult times.
Okay, Samantha, if you have a follow-up.
Yeah, I was just wondering what the other things that could be talked about at the table that have that Laura had mentioned, what specifically those could be?
Okay.
Thanks for the question. I don't want to get, again, I continue to want to respect the collective bargaining process. And I don't want to get into too much detail of the issues that are currently at the table. There's some benefit related items that are on the table. There's a matter of shuttle buses. I don't think there's any great value in discussing some of those details. They do have monetary value. But I don't want to get into the specifics at the bargaining table. I think we need to let the bargaining committee do their work and discuss the issues. As I say, there's room for discussions in these other issues that have a monetary value. But I don't want to start talking about the specific proposals and items at the table. I think we need to let the bargaining committee do their work and have those discussions between themselves.
Thank you, Laura. We'll now move on to Lisa Poleski from 900 CHML. Lisa, if you have a question, you can go ahead.
Thanks very much, Michelle. I hope everyone can hear me okay. My question, I guess, would be for Carlisle Can. It's we heard from ATU President Eric Tuck on one of our shows that there would be basically attempts to stop shuttles that are operating locally within the city. That would be, say, carrying people from one part of the city to the Tim Hortons field on Grey Cup Day, basically reiterating the point that these workers who would be driving these shuttles would be scabs. So I'm just wondering if you to that and what the city might be doing in response to these kind of these plans from the union.
Thanks for the question, Lisa. I can assure you, since the onset of the strike, which started at 12:01 on Thursday morning, the city has made no efforts to securing, I guess, alternative transportation. What you see is the Grey Cup organizers and the CFL and other private entities that have made arrangements, and the city has nothing to do with that.
Okay, thanks. And then, I guess my additional question would be, again, maybe you're going to give the same answer as before, but, one of the things during the ATU presser on Friday was, the union saying, we're willing to move off of our number if the city is willing to move off of their number. But until then, we're not going to go to the bargaining table. So, I mean, if it really is a matter of wages at this point, I guess this is also what Samantha was asking, but how is there a way to go forward if neither side is going to move on this?
I think, and thanks for the question. I think Laura was exactly right that the negotiations that need to happen need to remain within the bargaining table. We have a qualified team that are there, and we don't want to influence or, I guess, compromise the discussions that are to be had. That is where the discussion should be had, and out of that will come recommendations. There are many things that can be discussed, and there are many things that need to be discussed, and I would strongly encourage both parties to go back to the table.
Thank you, Carlisle. We're going to move on to our next media partner, Crystal DBU from In the Hammer. Crystal, if you have a question, you can go ahead now.
Oh, hi, good afternoon. Question for Laura Fontana. The union pointed out last week that the main issue is the wages, and I'm wondering that the mayor had defended this issue with your raise of nearly 19,000 over 4 years. Although a lot of people are asking in response to Mayor Horwath's tweet defending your raise, like what justifies you having a raise of 19,000, of nearly 19,000 over 4 years, when the people such as the HSR workers particularly are working very difficult jobs, and they're saying that they hardly have breaks, or they're finding it hard to find washrooms, and they also work through the pandemic. Like, what would you say in response to that in terms of justifying the raise that you got over the past 4 years?
So thanks for the question. I honestly don't feel comfortable talking about my salary. What I can tell you is that the percentage increase was quite frankly in line with the percentage increases that we're suggesting or offering to the ATU and other unions across the organization. There's a non-union salary compensation schedule that my position falls within, and it's based on an evaluation process. So I'm not going to say much more than that in terms of increases. It's all relative, and it's consistent with other increases across the organization, including the increases provided to the unionized staff.
Okay, thank you. Can I ask one more question?
Yes.
The union mentioned also that working conditions are a big issue. Actually, something you're trying to work on, because I know the last news conference you mentioned it wasn't an issue; it was the wages.
Yeah, I think. Well, yeah. Thanks.
Thanks for the question. And without a doubt, working conditions is important to us in the city. It's not only for transit workers, but it's for all our workers across the city. As you can imagine, there are employees within the transit division, there's employees within public works, there's employees within our economic development that travel across the city, and we make available washrooms for them. We've invested in 5 additional washrooms. We've signed contracts with vendors out there so that our employees can have access to it. So wherever there is a need for it, and I said on Thursday that, you know, I am responsible for transit, so I'm responsible for both parties that deliver that service, both the unionized and non-unionized. And we take these things really seriously. We want to make sure our employees are proud to work at the city of Hamilton. We also want to ensure that they have the right working conditions. And I am assured that when you look at the different routes and you look at the different schedules, it's roughly about 80% of the time they're behind the wheel, and then there's 20% of the time where they can take breaks, they can stretch their legs, they can get a bite to eat, and there's also time where they need to get back to the mountain garage. So that's all factored into it.
Thanks very
Okay,
much,
thank you.
Carlisle. Thanks, Carlisle. So we're going to partner CHCH. If anybody is there that would like to ask a question, now is your opportunity.
Hi. Thanks for that. So I have a question for Carlisle, or Laura may want to respond to. You say you've been in contact with the union today. Talking to the union at 1 o'clock this afternoon, they said there was no contact on Friday. There had been no contact today. Did you contact them after 1 o'clock? Some kind of misunderstanding here?
Thanks again for the question. I didn't make direct contact with the union. I believe the contact with the union president was made after 1 o'clock. That's my understanding.
Okay. So I do have another question for you. This is about the shuttle buses. Say that that's a matter for the festival group, but Laura, you also mentioned shuttle buses are a matter for the negotiators. Is this something that you want to take the union at the bargaining table?
Yeah, so thanks for the question. I think there's 2 different shuttles that we're referring to. One is associated with the Grey Cup game, and how do you get people from one point A to point B to the Tim Hortons field, and how do you get them home safely? I think that's the first one. The other shuttle that we offer, and this is all part of the day-to-day operations, where a driver may start a route in the middle of it and they need to return back to the garage. They can call their supervisor, we'll send the shuttle down to pick them up, and then they'll be returned up. So there's 2 different shuttles. One is our day-to-day operations as transit. The other one is specifically for Sunday, the Grey Cup.
Okay, thanks for clarifying that. One other question for you about the shuttle bus. The union, as you know, is saying it's going to picket and possibly the airport to stop fans from using shuttle buses. Are you taking any action over that, like seeking a court injunction, anything like that?
Well, thanks for the question. I don't think it's the city's position to do that. It's between the Grey Cup organizers, the festival event coordinators, and the private sector that have arranged for that. Like I said, we have no party in that. And I guess if there's some challenges on Sunday, hopefully we can all work through it. We have a great week ahead of us. We want to make sure that we end on a high note, and those that come in to visit the city from across the country, that they leave with a positive impression of the city.
Okay. Just
Thank
one more question for you, if I can.
We do need to move along. We'll do
Okay.
one more question each. If you wouldn't mind, I'll come back to you. I just want to give the other. So first off, we'll go to one more question from Matt Van Dongen from the Hamilton Spectator. If you have a question, Matt.
Hi, I'll ask one more question. Do we know in a ballpark sense what the savings are each day that we don't have buses?
So Matt, we're working on that number right now. I got to be honest, it has completely slipped my mind right now, and it's about 100,000 a day. So Laura's just can confirm that. That sounds about right.
Sorry, is that net of revenue or?
That's correct. That's net of revenue.
Thanks.
Great. Thank you so much. Samantha Beatty from CBC Hamilton. If you have another question, you can go ahead.
I'm good, thanks.
Thank you so much, Samantha. Lisa Pileski, 900 CHML. If you have another question, you can go ahead.
Sorry, I was muted. I'm also
That's
good.
okay.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you, Lisa. Crystal DBU from In the Hammer. If you have another.
It's just a follow-up actually for Mr. Carlisle. He mentioned that so is it something actually the union has mentioned to you as well, that they want to get this sorted out in the bargaining process?
So thanks for the question. Without a doubt, this came up in our last round of negotiations, and we've made a huge strides. I think when you look at the last round and versus now, there were 3 years where not only the entire city, but the entire province and the entire country shut down. So access to washrooms was a challenging thing. We have made huge strides in terms of working conditions and making sure our drivers have access to washrooms. And I believe there was a consent ruling recently on that. So we are providing washrooms. There are a number of washrooms available. We continue to work with various vendors. And I believe during this round of discussions, since February 28th, approximately, and this is just an approximate number, 30 minutes have been spent on the topic in discussions.
Thanks very much, Carlisle. Now we'll go back to Al Sweeney from CHCH News. Al, if you have another question, please go ahead.
Okay, thanks, Michelle. Here's an easy one for you guys. Whoever wants to. What are the chances of getting this strike over in time for the Grey Cup game?
So I think the city is at the table. We are willing to go back. We're available pretty much on short notice. And because the strike has only been, this is day 5, getting the buses back on the road will be just a matter of a quick turnover. So we can do that within 12 to 24 hours. As we go longer and deeper into it, then it takes a little bit longer to get the buses ready. But between now and Sunday, if we are able to reach an agreement, a settlement, these buses will be back on the roads and our drivers will be back behind the wheels, and we'll all be focused on the Grey Cup.
Thank you, Carlisle. So with that, that concludes today's media availability. I'd like to thank our media partners for joining us. If you do have any, feel free to reach out to the media relations team and we will get that information you're looking for. Thank you all and have a great afternoon.
Thank you.
Good job.